What's up guys, it's James here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the number one most important rule, the golden rule for investing in short-term rental properties. The rule which if you do not follow it, I promise you, you will not have a fun time. So I want to talk more about that. Before I do, I just want to remind you guys that as always, there's a link in the description down below for a limited time right now. We are offering a free training that teaches you exactly how step-by-step to invest successfully in short-term rental properties. So if you haven't already checked that out, I highly recommend you check that out. It's not going to be around forever, and the training is completely free. Just click the link in the description down below, register, grab yourself a spot before it runs out, and we're also going to throw in a free analysis spreadsheet that's going to help you to analyze deals because we want you to succeed. We don't want you to make mistakes. We want you to be successful with your short-term rental investing. And so in order to do that, make sure you click the link down below to register for that free training. Now, that being said, let's talk about the golden rule, and it is cash flow. It is do not lose money. Now, someone you may know named Warren Buffett once said that the two most important rules for all investing are rule number one, do not lose money, and rule number two, refer to rule number one. Now, I took that to heart, and what I realized the more I started investing, the more I started growing my wealth, was that there's actually a reason behind that. It wasn't just some cheeky comment that's just pointing out the obvious. It's that every time you lose money, you then have to gain disproportionately more in order just to get back to break even. Now, I'll give you an example. If you have $100 and you lose 10% of it, that means you've lost $10, so you're down to $90. Now, from $90, if you then gain 10%, you'd think that you'd be back to $100, right? Wrong. You would be up $9, which is 10% of 90, and you'd be back to $99. So now to compensate for a 10% loss, you have to get greater than a 10% gain just to get back to square one, just to get back to break even. And so that is why when it comes to building your wealth, when it comes to investing, the most important thing, bar none, is to never lose money. You never want to lose money because anytime that you lose money, it's going to really slow things down for you because it's going to take a disproportionately longer time frame just to get back to square one. And so when you're looking at the compounding effect kicking in, it really means that it can be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years less before you start actually building substantial wealth and getting the compounding interest kicking in your favor and really working for you. And so if you want to succeed, you want to be able to quit your 9-to-5, replace your income from short-term rental cash flow. If you want to build a substantial nest egg for your retirement, if you want to build something to pass along to your family, to your children, then you really want to prioritize not losing money. That's why for us, whenever we're investing, the number one priority is not, hey, what is the return on investment? What is the upside on this? It's, hey, what is the downside on this? We never want to be in a position where we could potentially lose money. If we could, we're just not going to do the deal, no matter how juicy the upside is. And so the way to do that and the way to best protect yourself from losing money in real estate is having cash flow. If you remember back in 2008, that's probably one of the biggest losses experienced in real estate investing by the masses in North America. And the reason that happened was because interest rates went up and people could not afford to hold on to properties that had then gone down in value. And so, bada boom, you've got a recipe for disaster, right? Imagine you bought a property for $500,000 and then all of a sudden it's worth $400,000. The last thing that you would ever want to do is sell that property, because if you sell that property, you have to realize this $100,000 loss. And so the only other thing that you can do is hold on to it. And if it's cash flowing positive, great. If it's cash flowing negative though, if your expenses go up or if your cash flow is lower, and suddenly it's going to cost you money every single month just to hold on to that property because someone's got to pay the mortgage, the utility bill, everything else. And so if you can no longer afford to hold on to that property, what are you forced to do? You are forced to sell it. And what does that mean? It means you're forced to realize a $100,000 loss. And by the way, leading up to that loss, you were just losing money as well, because every single month it was costing you money to carry that property. And so that is exactly what happened in 2008. That's when people lost their homes. That's when people, lost literally millions of dollars overnight in real estate, is because they didn't have the cash flow to be able to hold on to those properties and weather the storm. Anyone who did own real estate and saw it decline in value but had the cash flow coming in to be able to carry and hold on to that property was able to weather the storm, and then they were able to come out the other side when property values had gotten back up to what they purchased for or above that, and then they can sell at a profit if they choose to. But frankly, why would they? Because they're earning cash flow passively every single month from that investment. And so that is really the golden rule of short-term rental investing, is to make sure that in a worst case scenario, you would never be in a cash flow negative situation. So obviously it's really fantastic that we can get incredible cash flow, and that on a $500,000 property, we can cash flow $80,000, $90,000 a year in profit after all the carrying costs. That's fantastic. The ROI there is undeniably incredible. But there's a big asterisk there. We want to make sure that even if we're buying that deal, that in a worst case scenario, we're never going to be losing money. If the worst case scenario on a deal that good were that I would potentially lose money, I still wouldn't want to do it, because you never want to put yourself in that position where you could potentially lose money, because the risk is just far too great. It's not worth the reward, where you can, especially when you can get that reward without having to take that substantial risk. So one analysis that I think is really, really important for you to learn how to do, and that we'll teach you how to do in the training that's linked in the description down below, is analyzing your worst case scenario. And so the way you want to do this is there's a couple different ways to look at your worst case scenario. In one scenario, you might go, okay, what is the worst case scenario if this property is still a short-term rental and it just performs awfully? Let's say that things get cut in half, or let's say that, it really doesn't perform well. Will it still be breaking even on cash flow? In other words, will it still be bringing in enough money after the operating costs like cleaning fees, supplies expense? Will it still be bringing in enough money to pay all of the carrying costs on the property? Mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, that sort of thing. And so if it will still be bringing in enough to more than cover those costs in a worst case scenario, then that's a great sign. That means that you have a very, very, very low, if not no chance at all, of actually being in a cash flow negative situation with that property. So that even if the property does go down in value, it's not really relevant to you. It doesn't really matter, because you're still going to be making money. And then the other way you can look at it is say, okay, well, let's say that this property had to be transitioned over to long-term rental. Let's look at that as a worst case scenario. Would it cash flow as a long-term rental? That's another good way to look at it and see what the potential downside is. If you could still be cash flowing positive on the property as a long-term rental, that is pretty safe bet. That means that you don't have to really worry about this property being too much to cash flow on your own and having to be forced to sell it. So that's what I always look at. That's one of the most important things for me personally when it comes to real estate investing, is to really look at the downside. I think too many people go in only looking for the upside, and they just don't spend the time to properly analyze the downside. So if you want to be able to learn exactly how to analyze both the upside and the potential downside to make sure that you're not only investing in a property that is going to yield a really great ROI, but also one that doesn't have any risk attached to it, then I highly recommend you check out the free training that's linked down below. We built our analysis spreadsheet exactly for that, so we could properly, accurately run the numbers, and we're going to give that analysis tool to you completely free when you register for the training. So make sure you just click the link in the description down below and sign up for that before it's too late. We're not going to be giving this stuff away for free forever, obviously, so make sure that you grab that before it's too late. Now, the other thing is that if you really are serious about investing in short-term rental properties and you want to grow and you want this to be successful, you want to replace your 9-to-5 income or really, really scale this and be incredibly successful investing in short-term rentals, then right after the free training, you're going to get an opportunity to schedule a one-on-one call completely free with either myself, my business and investing partner, Riley, or another member of our team that helps us with our short-term rental investing. So if you're interested in that, that's where we're going to get on the phone with you and actually map out a game plan, a step-by-step game plan specifically custom tailored to you. So we're going to look at what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve, what your experience is, and then kind of map out, hey, these are the steps that you need to take in order to get there. again, that is something that is going to be incredibly valuable to you, and it's completely free. You'll be able to register for that right after the training. So I highly recommend that you do that if you're serious about short-term rental investing, because we're going to be able to help you to see some potential challenges that you wouldn't be able to see on your own, make some great moves, avoid some bad moves, make sure that you're not making mistakes along the way. So if you want to really speed up your timeline and really ramp up the amount of success and the results you're able to achieve with your short-term rental investing, then make sure you take advantage of this limited time opportunity. Click the link below, register for the training, grab the free tool, and grab that free strategy session. So all that being said, I do hope you got a lot of value from this video. If you did, please do me a quick favor and just hit the like button. It really helps me out tremendously with YouTube's algorithm and helping get this channel and get all of this knowledge and all of this training out to more people. I really want to help more people be financially free and invest successfully in short-term rental properties. So if you could help me and be a small part of that, I would really, really appreciate it if you could just hit the like button. Also, if you are interested in more of this content, I post 2 videos every single week on this channel. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, anything you want to chat with me about, just let me know in the comment section down below. And other than that, I just want to make sure that I say, hey, have a great day. I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next video.